Today we have 4 best of 5s as always. BASILISK Big Brain Bouts number 22, $500 on the line. And as you guys can see, for our first series, I am going to be joined by Multi. Multi, as we set things up, and of course, guys, if I have a co-cast, I don't interact with chat too much, but we have 3 more series after this, including back-to-back TVZs where you guys can talk to me, so there will be plenty of ready time for all of you. Multi, before we hop into this, let's go ahead and give yourself a little introduction, because a lot of the diehards will know you, but there are always people watching that have no idea who you are.
Okay, sure. Hello guys, I'm Molten. I'm a UK Protoss player. Often go to as many European StarCraft events as I can, so you might have seen me there. I'm also owner of Team Goldmasters, which is Bumbz' team, so might be a little bit biased, but I think that's okay. Yeah, that's it really. I stream some ladder.
Where do you stream?
Twitch.tv/MoltenSC.
And you are joining the first best of 5 because you are close friends with Bumbz. Even though you guys have the weirdest friendship ever. Because if I were you, I would not like Bumbz at all. Because I think I've seen that man snipe you like 27 times in a row at any given moment. And he obviously beats you more often than not because he's slightly higher ranked. That would drive me insane. Can you please explain this friendship to me?
Yeah, I mean, we've known each other for a very, very long time. We've been in the same clan for, I don't even know, maybe 3 years now. And we talk about the game a lot. We meme a lot. Maybe we're a little bit toxic to each other sometimes, but it's all in there. It's all in good banter. And whenever he snipes me, he's only doing it.
Hey,
so
mate, you're not in the game.
the game.
Why are you not in the game?
Oh,
wait.
I was not invited. Oh.
Okay,
I will see the lobby was up.
So what I will do is I'll share my screen with you for the first game.
Yeah, okay.
And then after this, you can just join the lobby.
So, zoned out.
It's okay. I just share screen. Co-caster for first game. GG, good luck. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead. You're so invested in your little intro, mate.
Yeah, I was occupied.
Alright, you should be able to see the screen right now that I'm sharing with you.
Yeah, I see.
Okay. We're just gonna hop into it and I'll end it and then you just join in game 2. So here we go, guys. Best of 5 BASILISK Big Brain Bouts opening match. Opening match means $75 on the line. Slightly lower level, and throughout the night the level will get higher and higher. Now Cuckoo is very upset about that statement because he feels that the second best of 5 is better than the third best of 5. But we'll dive into that later. For now, let's welcome 2 brand new players to Friday night video gaming BASILISK Big Brain Bouts. You want to intro your man in the bottom right side, amigo?
I do. In the southeast, in the blue, playing Protoss. For Team Goldmasters, it's Bumbz.
A man that has sniped you many, many times. And if anybody would ever snipe me that many times, I can guarantee you that I would not be friends with him. But you're a big man for coping with all of that, mate, and dealing with it. In the top left side, also making his debut on the Friday night, someone who's quite active in the community. You guys have probably seen his name on a Reddit thread or 2 because he comments on everything. But he's just passionate about video games. I have not seen him play a whole lot, but I recently saw him stream and I was like, you know what? Somebody who's that active in the community, streams, comments on everything, watches everything. I feel like he deserves an appearance on the Friday night. Let's see what he's made of. It's the American Zerg player, Voltz.
Do you know much about Voltz's level? Because I tried to look him up on like Nefest and sort of thing, and I couldn't really find any accounts with lots of games on. So does he play on a barcode?
No, he does not play under a barcode as far as I know. I think he has a Cabal account, something like Zerg Cabal, and then something behind it. So he doesn't just ladder under Voltz, but he is also not barcoding. At least not when I saw him. I did ask him about his level, and he gave me an order of matchups from strongest to weakest. I think ZVZ is what he likes the least, but I think ZVP is the matchup that he felt most confident in. But he's also a 5.3, 5.4k player, so then I think a best of 5 against Bumbz here should be a match made in heaven. And obviously, you know my rule, Multi. I only have one job, and that is avoid the 3 zeros.
That is your one job. You've done a pretty good job of it so far at BASILISK Big Brain Bouts.
What do you see on the side of Bumbz? Obviously, everything very standard so far. Since you know him so well, mostly in PvP, but obviously you know his other matchups too. Is he just a standard Oracle into Blinkstalker kind of Protoss, or is there a chance that he's going to switch it up a bit?
Yeah, I think he's definitely planning to start by playing very standard and kind of feel it out and maybe see how Voltz is playing this series. Maybe he definitely has the potential to mix it up. I think Bumbz is most comfortable just playing standard Stargate openings, Oracle first, nothing too fancy.
I think we got raided as well, but sorry guys, my entire second screen is blocked at the moment because I have to share my screen. Oh, raided by Wadi. Thank you so much, Wadi. I'm gonna do a fun stream with Wadi soon, mate. I told Wadi and Kalaris we need to do a triple Pokemon card opening stream because the new set is coming out soon. And I think that would be a lot of fun. But welcome everybody from Wadi's stream. As soon as this best of 5 is over, I'll be interacting a lot more with the chat. But since we have a co-caster first series, I'm just gonna focus on the game and see what Bumbz and Voltz are made of, because I have never seen them play on the Friday night, and even other than the Friday night, they don't play too often in the weeklies. These adepts could be in a bit of a pickle here, by the way. One adept will absolutely fall. Now the question is, oh, what are we doing with that shade? Multi, what's happening with Bumbz?
Bumbz a bit all over the place here, trying to duck and weave with that adept. That's not going to work out always. The Oracle comes in, can't quite save it. At least all the lings go down, but it's obviously not the start Bumbz was looking for. 8 lings for 2 adepts.
Yeah, I know. Like, it's not even that it's like the worst raid ever, guys, if you lose 2 adepts for 8 lings, but he's just not supposed to lose these 2 adepts. Losing 1 adept is something that can happen if it gets caught, but the other one, it's just nice to have an adept on hold position between Mineral Lines and a Vespian Geyser. As Voltz fires up a 4-minute and 20-second lair, by the way, is making a couple of additional links. I don't think we can do a whole lot, but what we can do is maybe keep the oracles at home, and that obviously means we don't lose any drones.
What do you think about this map for Protoss against Zerg as well, by the way? Because the third base for Protoss is so awkward. Like, it's such a big area to have to wall off against like Baneling run-bys. I'm really not a fan.
I don't know, man. As long as you have Phoenixes and DTs, I always feel kind of safe.
I don't know.
No, I can definitely understand what you're saying, and I feel that I've heard this as well from a couple of very high-level players in the European scene, that it goes for a lot of the maps in the current map pool where it does not feel that it's super easy to be on that very comfortable 3-base setup and make sure that your mineral lines are safe. So I feel like you can take the triangle, you can take the bottom side base as well, but yeah, you're definitely gonna have to get creative and go for a little bit of SimCity.
Well, has Bumbz forgotten to start a Twilight upgrade here, by the way? Building a Tempo Archives.
Yeah, it has to be charged.
Yeah, surely charge.
We are getting another Oracle as well, so it's triple Oracle. Now, charge doesn't take too long. It's 100 seconds, but you can obviously chrono boost it out. So, for getting charged is not the end of the world, unless you actually have an idea of being aggressive and you're trying to hit some sort of a timing. I think he can survive. If he wants to go Blink now, yeah, then it gets very awkward, because Blink does take a whole lot longer. Charge is obviously not great against roaches either. Nerves, maybe? What do you think?
Oh, he's making zealots. He's definitely just forgotten charge. Oh, yeah. Bumbz.
In a weird way, it might actually work out for him a little bit.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is. Because, like, I think being aggressive against 68 drones, mass roach, was not really going to accomplish a whole lot. So if now Bumbz is like, alright, I forgot charge, I will no longer go for my timing attack, and instead I'm just going to crank out some immortals and build static defenses, I actually think that this mistake works out in his favor.
I kind of like what Voltz is doing though. He's making a lot of roaches, and the robo of Bumbz is quite late this game. It only just finished up now, so the immortal count is really not going to be very high.
Yeah, no, that is definitely a problem as the infestation pit goes down. And I'm not sure why he wants to go infestation pit here. There is a chance he wants to play roach swarm host, but I don't know if that's a style that he's comfortable with. I don't know if he believes in that. He can obviously just fire up a hive and go for some vipers. Could drop a hydra then and then try to play roach into lurkers. There's honestly a lot of ways that this game can play out, but since he's still on 66 drones, I kind of feel 66 drones screams swarm host.
Yeah, if there's something Bumbz is very good at, it's probe production. He loves to get to about 75 probes as fast as he possibly can. We see 2 adepts here are going to get some drones. It's good damage for Bumbz.
Yep, especially a lovely moment as well, right when all the roaches are making their way to the other side of the map. What Bumbz does need to do, though, is stay near static defenses, because the army supply heavily favors Voltz at the moment. Archons are obviously not bad, but all by themselves, they can't really do a whole lot against this many roaches. And our immortal count is literally non-existent. I think we should cancel that 4th base, as he's just going to drop a lot of stasis traps. That stasis could be a big one. It is a decent one. The problem is just we have no way to punish the fact that we dropped a good stasis.
I think he's just super dead. There's just no immortals out. He's not going to have the DPS to kill this massive roach army. The Protoss bar is going to be able to zone the army out. Another stasis wall goes down, but I don't think it's quite enough. I'm just going to try jump on the army.
If there was ever a chance, I would say it's this. I wouldn't hate a Void right now, by the way, since the queen count is kind of low, and I thought for a split second there he might be able to kill those 3 queens on the left, but he is not able to kill those 3 queens on the left. Bumbz is sitting at 1,000 minerals, but he is just getting overrun here by the swarm. You're right, Multi. The man is super dead. He is indeed excellent at building probes. Well, we kind of need to be excellent at building battle units as well. And having 0 immortals against this many roaches showing up at your front door. Yeah, that's a problem.
And now we get to endure the next 5 minutes of this game. As one thing Bumbz is not very good at is typing GG and leaving the game. It's a classic Bumbz GG timing we have here.
I mean, there's money on the line. I'd rather see him leave late than see him leave early, but...
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, this one is indeed kind of up. When we're looking at 200 supply against 71 supply, Bumbz knows it too. You know, once in a blue moon, you kind of hope that, like, maybe this is the weird game. As now I'm going to have to stop sharing this screen so people can see you again. Let me go ahead and set this up, guys. Sorry, that was a bit of a clown fiesta because Multi did not manage to join. I have to now join the video call again. I have to pop him out. And then I think everything will work again. And you guys should be able to see my lovely co-caster. There we go. All right,
I'll try and join the game this time.
Yeah, that would help. I could legitimately not see anything. We have exclamation mark caster in the chat as well. I don't know if it works. I don't know if anybody has used it because I did not see anything of the chat in that previous game. But yeah, there you guys can see who Molten is. And once more, I welcome all of you guys. Thank you to Wardy for the raid. Hello, Night Phoenix. Night Phoenix, he knows. Showing up on the Friday night increases the odds of being invited. Very smart. That young man is onto something.
Do you see him popping off yesterday? I saw a little tweet from Night Phoenix saying he beat Hero Moon. Not bad.
On the ladder or in a tournament?
Yeah, on the ladder.
No, I did not see the tweet about him beating Gabe on the ladder. I do know that Gabe was grinding like a maniac yesterday. I basically saw Gabe stream at 3 p.m. And then I still saw Gabe stream at 11 p.m. I had Rainer over. Rainer came by to have dinner with us. So we just had a little chitty chat, and we obviously watched a little bit of Gabe on the television. But yeah, I believe it was the very casual 10-hour stream of Gabe. Do you ever do a casual 10-hour stream, Molten?
No, I think I've done a 10-hour stream like once. That's so long.
Night Phoenix says that he beat Gabe twice on the ladder. He now has 6,263 MMR. It's pretty good, mate. It's very close to my all-time record. Alright, we're going to go ahead and hop into Game 2 between our American Zergy and our Swedish Protoss. Game 1, it felt close. It felt like it should have been competitive. But yeah, Bumbz obviously slacking a little bit on the Immortal production. Had big stasises, but that's not enough to deal with a million roaches and ravages. In the bottom right side, the man is making his debut on the Friday night. $75 on the line, 5.4k MMR. This is Bumbz.
And in the northwest, in the blue playing Zerg, it is Voltz.
For a split second, I was worried that you once more didn't join the game, because
Oh no, we're good.
I was focusing on the chat a little bit and reorganizing my second monitor, because after game 1 it was a bit of a mess. What do we got here? A 15 pool?
That's interesting. Bumbz with the probe, not the natural expansion as well.
15 pool, but gasless. That's odd. I have to admit that if I'm Bumbz here, like obviously my scouting pattern is a little bit different, but this is always one of these moments where I'm like, do I go Nexus into Forge, or do I go Forge into Nexus, you know? Or could I even get away with Gateway into Nexus? But my gate would obviously be later, because I don't play the same way as all the other top tier Protosses. But Voltz will still be able to just get his natural up. Maybe this is just his way to make sure that he doesn't get hatch blocked, and he can start saturating the natural as quickly as possible. But I almost feel that in this day and age, there are Zergs, even without being blocked, they'll gladly take their third, just so they can get the creep out a lot quicker.
Yeah. So Bumbz going for a Zealot, then the Nexus. Going to be able to wall this off with a Cybercore and a Gateway as well, just in time before those sixlings arrive.
Yeah. There's obviously a chance, right, that we are going to have to dance a little bit. I wouldn't hate a second Zealot, I know that might be a bit of an overreaction, but I think one Zealot is honestly close. So we are going to get the second Zealot. We're going to Chrono Boost it out as well. I like it. I think otherwise there is a chance that this game just completely falls apart way sooner than it ever is supposed to. So why not play it safe? Those 100 minerals. Those are 100 minerals that Voltz also invested in these Zerglings this early.
A little dance with the Zealots here. Could be pretty easy for Bumbz to not let these Lings in. Adept's being chrono boosted out.
And even if they get in, if the Adept is like 70 or 80% done, then I don't even hate it anymore, right? Because you know that the follow-up is not going to be a Ling flood because he's scouted with the probe. He knows the gas timing. So even if these Lings would get in now, if anything, I would be like, that's kind of nice because you can actually clean all of them up. And I think worst case scenario, you lose a single probe. But Voltz is not going to just throw away these Lings. So now we're heading into a slightly more normal game. But basically all the timings that we had in mind are out of the window because Voltz just played a weird Zerg opening, and Bumbz was forced to react with a second gateway before attack and a second Zealot, when normally he would make 0 Zealots. So, definitely a different game, but we're probably still going to head into a somewhat normal direction.
I really like that he's sending the 2 Zealots across the map as well. This just makes it a little awkward for Voltz to deal with. That Queen can't really come too far out of creep as it is going, and it's going to take some hits here. We'll be able to save it.
Good save there. With the creep follower finishing up. The Zealots are going to get surrounded. A lot of Lings will fall here, but I think at least one Zealot will fall. The second Zealot is still pretty healthy. Wasn't a bad trade, obviously, there for Bumbz to get that much value out of a slow Zealot. But good save on the Queen. Nice little dance. I do feel, mate, that these two nerds are very evenly matched. And as long as Bumbz can get a little bit more ready for these big Roach Ravager attacks, I think we've got a real series on our hands.
Bumbz said in the clan chat before this game, after the last one, that he has a plan now. And
double Stargate then?
I don't know what the plan is, but yeah, he has one. Yeah.
I'm feeling double Stargate. I think double Stargate. Bumbz is a pretty good Skytoss player, as far as I know.
Yeah, true. He does like going like 2 base, barrier, and then take a later third.
I honestly think that'd be a pretty solid strategy. There is an Overlord chilling in the natural of Bumbz. That is something he's going to have to take care of. He drops a Twilight Council. Maybe a single Void Ray into... I think it's too late to ever go for Adepts, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's just going to be charge again. Once again, it's going to be kind of a late robo. I'm kind of scared of, but I don't think Voltz will virtual in again.
Yeah, unless Voltz literally goes up to 66 drones before making any roaches, then I don't think that like going for 6 gate Zealot +1 here is going to be fantastic. But we do have these extra gateways being planted down rather quickly. Does fire up charge immediately, and he might even Chrono Boost +1 and charge a bit. There is still no Roach Warn, so... Oh, it's straight into Hydras.
Oh, okay. So a little greedy from Voltz, and it's going to work out for him. He doesn't need the Roaches to defend against any early pressure. So you can just go straight for the Hydra. Might be looking at a longer game here then, so I don't think Bumbz is going to get aggressive.
Hydra's obviously expensive, right? So if you either make a lot of them or 52 drones, then you're committed as he fires up 12 Lings. So now it almost feels that Voltz is going to try to be the aggressor here rather than Bumbz. But if Bumbz just picks up on this, you know, just make... It is kind of hard, to be fair, because what is the best unit to make here? Like, if you can survive every time you get a Colossus out, yeah, then you're absolutely cooking. But it's pretty hard to make it all the way up to a Colossus. The Void Ray is not good against Hydras. Zealots only in overwhelming numbers, but if the Hydra count is like 15 plus, I don't really believe too much in Zealot Archon. So this can honestly be very hard. I actually think that Bumbz needs to drop the Robo Bay ASAP and then just try to survive a little bit longer, as Voltz is already planning the attack. One Adept is getting 2 drones, that's nice, but this is going to be hard to defend, man.
Bumbz is in a lot of trouble here. He doesn't realize just how much is coming across the map. Even the 2 queens are waddling their way across as well. There is a battery here, and a battery and an Archon is very, very powerful.
Yeah, 4 gates is nice, but okay, I'm making even an Immortal. That's a very early overcharge, but I don't hate it. If Voltz does not kill, this is an amazing fight now for Bumbz, mate. Yeah. This is an absolutely amazing fight for Bumbz at first. Now Zealots, mate, use the rest of your army. Don't only fight with the Zealots. Is going to disengage for a split second. Bumbz with 1,000 minerals in the bank. Just needs to keep on wiping in units. Don't lose Zealots one by one. I don't hate going for a couple of range units here, but drop the Robobay, right? Because it really does feel that if you get a Robobay up and running in a game like this against a Zerg with 49 drones, then you're absolutely cooking.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. That Archon got 12 kills in just a matter of seconds underneath that battery overcharge. Really the dream defense for Bumbz there. Yeah, I'm interested to see where he's going to take it now. I don't think he is going to drop a Robo-Bear. I think he might go Storm eventually and then straight into carriers.
Not necessarily bad, I guess, to play Zealot, Immortal, Archon with +2, but I really do think that if you can make life simple, make it simple, right? Like, why go for the overly complicated, potentially good enough unit composition when you can just make Disruptors? Disruptors are going to be sick against Lurkers, and with the economy that Voltz has, he can never afford Vipers.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a very, very good start to this game for Bumbz. I mean, look at the work count. He's 15 workers ahead against a 3-base Zerg.
Yeah.
It really is Bumbz's game.
All he needs to do is realize what kind of a game this is, right? Because like, it's very easy for us to be like, you're fine. But if he doesn't know, and he just goes up to 4 bases, and he keeps on making probes and a couple of Zealots, and he doesn't prioritize static defenses and Disruptors, then surviving the first wave could still be a bit scary. So Bumbz just needs to be damn sure made to queue up a Disruptor then, because this is 8 Lurkers multi, and we're down 40 army supply on the side of Bumbz, the man who's down 0-1 in his best of 5. First Disruptor's on the way. Bumbz should win this game, but he still needs to survive this Zerg storm.
One Disruptor on the way now. Lurker's going to try and move up. 2 are picked off very nicely by Bumbz. And there's a lot of Lings in this army, and with so many Archons, I don't think Voltz can really push into this. 3 cannons going to help out as well for Bumbz.
Yeah, the target fight there with the Void Rays and Prismatic Alignment on the Lurkers was awesome, and Observer is going to show up now as well. Immortal is dancing, he's doing a weird dance. In the end, he just wants to shoot at a couple of Lurkers, and it will. A Void Ray dies, but a lot of Zerglings have died. And Voltz is obviously off 44 drones. He's losing more drones right now on the other side of the map to a couple of Zealots. So it does seem that it will be the Swedish Protoss player who is more ready, and this time around, he had a good read on what was happening. I love the Void Race here, man. There weren't too many Hydras left after going for that many Lurkers of a weak economy. Multi, the first best of 5 of the night. It's not going to be a trio as Bumbz ties things up.
You did your job.
1 for Roddy, 0 for the haters. Do you like this? By the way, I have a new idea. Now whenever I'm casting a PvZ, I've got a Broodlord and a carrier behind me, and then if there's a Terran, I'm going to replace the carrier with a battlecruiser.
Oh, that is quite cool, actually.
It's clever, right?
Where's the battlecruiser now, then?
It's hiding behind the couch.
Hiding. Okay. Terrans are in hiding.
So now people never need to know or need to ask what matchup is coming up next, because before we've even hopped into the first game, it's going to be a BC. What if it's a mirror? I've got 2 Broodlords, 2 carriers, and 2 battlecruisers. No, I was thinking about it. I was like, yeah, that would be a problem. I do have the tiny carrier, and I do have a tiny battlecruiser, but I don't have the tiny Broodlord, because I believe that they are currently going for like $160 something, and I was like, well, no, Blizzard, that's pushing it a little bit. Zoom in on them, please. I think there is actually a way to zoom, but I'm not touching my camera, because I am... I'm not a technical, how do you say it? A technical mastermind. And definitely not a technician, but I was going for like, I'm no expert when it comes to technology. And if I start like twisting things on my camera before you guys know it, you guys won't be able to see me anymore at all. So we are not doing that. Let's go ahead and hop into game 3. Because that is something I can do. I'm just misclicking all over the place, guys. New microphone arm. I'm still getting used to all of this. This is what I'm going for.
Round 3. Fight.
You can introduce your Swedish nerd, matey.
Alright, my favorite Swedish nerd in the northeast, the blue Protoss player representing Team Goldmasters, it's Bumbz.
Woohoo! Broodlord is fine, but when will you buy an anime girl figure? I don't think that's ever gonna make it. I'm definitely a bit of a nerd. I feel like I have upped my nerd game over the last 2 years because of Wardy and Kalaros, and they got me back into Pokemon cards. And on top of that, I'm collecting little Moldo F1 cards right now, so I think I've gone up on the nerd skill. But no, I'm not too much into anime, and definitely not into like weird anime pillows and all that jazz. But maybe one day, mate. But I I don't think we're gonna see that day. In the bottom left side of Royal Blood, making his debut on the Friday night. This is our opening series of the night, means $75 in total, 60 for the winner, 15 for the loser. This is the American Zerg Passion Lord Voltz. Mate, I have somebody anonymous in the chat. Whenever like a pro gamer or a semi-pro gamer or fellow caster or fellow streamer stops by, they always get a sub from somebody that's anonymous in the chat. And it's super awesome, but I have no idea who to thank. But this is,
cool.
yeah, it's actually very cool. Welcome, Night Phoenix, and thank you, anonymous sub gifting.
Do you know the story behind Bumbz' name, by the way?
No, absolutely no idea. Feel free to share it.
It's basically it was his dad's account. Now, why his dad had a StarCraft account with the name Bumbz, I don't know. But it was his dad's account, and I was like, okay, but you realize you can just change the name, mate. And he said, yeah, but it makes me chuckle whenever I hear Roddy or other casters say Bumbz. That's like, alright. I don't know.
Do you know how old he is, by the way? Because I've got no idea.
I think he's my age. I think he's 22.
Oh, okay, so he's still pretty young.
Yeah,
So Gold Masters is going to peak when Stormgate comes out.
of course.
Do you have big dreams for Stormgate multi yourself?
I mean, I'm gonna play like as much of it as I can, but obviously I don't expect to be insanely good at it. But I don't know.
Are you gonna slow down the mouse?
Absolutely not.
Alright, then I think your dream is dead.
We'll see.
Alright, we've got triple hedge set up here for Voltz as Bumbz is making his way to the other side of the map with his first adept. That link count is actually quite high, by the way. I feel like this is a few more links than we normally see. Now, Bumbz is aware of all these Zerglings, so if I was him, I would just shade back immediately, mate. Because you have to know that there is not a whole lot you can do here anymore. The moment that link speed finishes up, I know 2 adepts have a lot of potential, but if I would see that many links, I would say get a creep tumor and just get the hell home. His shades are out of sync, by the way. He's only shading 1 out of 2, but okay. And yeah, just make sure that you can get out the 3-base setup properly as a Protoss and don't struggle too much against the random links that Voltz has made here in the early game.
These adepts need to escape to the little nook in that third base, and they will just about make it. Looks like they're going to get a somewhat...
That's still pretty good by
reasonable
Voltz there,
trade.
to be honest. Gets the probe
Yeah.
and gets an adept.
Do you think we're going to see Voltz all in again? We've seen do a roach roll in game 1. We've seen do pretty much a Hydra roll in game 2.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, game 1, I feel like it's not necessarily an all-in. It's obviously a very committed attack, and especially once we start rallying queens to the other side of the map. But it's not that he was on 50 drones, right? He's on 66 drones, and I feel like from 66 drones with that many roaches and queens, you always get damage done. So there are many moments where it's like, okay, you dealt a lot of damage, but you couldn't quite win the game, and then you can still transition. And his defense, he did have an infestation pit, so I wouldn't say that game 1 was an all-in. Game 2, though, the 50-something Hydras, yeah, that's definitely an all-in.
See the same opening from Bumbz as we have in the last couple games. The Forge and the Twilight Council on the way.
Yeah. Could be charge once more. He seems to be quite fond of charge. Honestly, if I was Voltz and I see Bumbz play a very similar style 2 games in a row, I wouldn't even blame him if he goes back to the build of game 1. It may not be the most fun, but hey, this is your debut, right? Friday night, BASILISK Big Brain Bouts, people are watching. Who cares if you're playing fun games? You want to win, you want to pick up those $60 and be like, alright, Roddy, you can see that I can play video games. Go ahead and invite me again in the future and give me a tougher opponent. I can't even blame him for it because, yeah, doing anything else other than these roach attacks against these charge +1 openings, I think is pretty hard to get away with.
Yeah, for sure, especially with how Bumbz is doing it, like very low immortal counts. And if there's no robo yet, there's definitely not going to be a robo bay for disruptors or anything in time for the roaches.
And like, even if you don't try to straight up win the game, just go ahead and try to take a great fight at the third, right? Kill the third Nexus, kill a couple probes, and then you can always go home and still queue up your hive if you have an infestation pit. And it does indeed seem that that is going to be Voltz's thought process here. And I can't blame him for it, man, because I actually feel that Bumbz is kind of bringing this up to himself by playing the exact same opening 3 games in a row. And what Voltz is doing is, on paper, just very good against what Bumbz is doing.
Yeah, it is for sure. We see these 2 adepts coming in. Once again, they do scout some roaches. Will they be able to get some drones? Looks like they will. And that's okay, but it's more important for Bumbz that he scouts just how many roaches are being produced here, and he does see quite a few. So hopefully some alarm bells are going off now for Godmaster's Protoss.
I do think we need a second pylon in the natural too, and maybe a cannon and a battery in the natural. Because going all out with the defense on the third base is cute, but if Voltz then just completely ignores the third base and he runs into your natural, you have an even bigger problem than when he's actually attacking the third. So I would definitely get a cannon, a battery, and another pylon here. Let's go, Bumbz. That is indeed the correct decision. Still going to be a difficult hold, but it really comes down to the micro. Would you go for another Immortal here, or would you actually queue up an early Prism?
I think you gotta go for the Immortal. You just need the DPS. I mean, although, I don't know, with the cannons and batteries, maybe the Prism for the Archons would definitely be very helpful. See, the Roach is coming in now. One Archon gets targeted down immediately. Nice job by Voltz. 5 Queens gonna make this awkward for when the Void Rays appear.
That overcharge is pretty big. We need to save that Archon for a split second. Unfortunately, Bumbz is not able to save that Archon. But these cannons, these Zealots, and the Immortal are doing some serious work. And this is already starting to look a whole lot better than Game 1 ever looked. Because these Roaches, Queens, and Ravages are running straight into the meat grinder. The overcharge, man, was very big. It did so much in keeping that Archon alive. And because all the Roaches were so clumped up, obviously the Archon hits were very big. And in the end, sure, every single Archon died. But 23 Roaches, 6 Ravages, and 5 Queens died. Just a very good hold here by Bumbz.
Yeah, very comfortable hold in the end.
I have the feeling that maybe for Voltz it would have helped to either bring a couple Overlords and start spreading some creep here, right? Because here he is running into a very awkward meat grinder where especially the Overcharge has really put in some serious work. Well, I think if you compare it to some of the world-class Zergs, if they find themselves in a similar scenario, you just try to get creep in this area. And that allows the Roaches and the Ravages to dart back and forth in and out of range a whole lot more often and get a couple of one-shots off, right? One-shotting an Archon, one-shotting an Immortal. I think that would have probably given him a whole lot more success with that attack. Because I think there are many scenarios where his attack there does get the job done, but he does really need some creep to work with.
I also think maybe trying to attack the area in between the natural and the third base would have been a better idea. So it just allows him to go into the natural if the third base is very heavily protected, like it was with the batteries and the cannons.
For sure. Somebody in the chat mentioned that they should have used corrosive bow on the buildings. It was a bit hard because this battery was way back. So then you basically move command Ravages into 2-3 Archons, an Immortal, double cannon, and Zealots. I think going for the cannons would have been a fine play with corrosive bow, but I don't think he would have been able to take out that battery. It was just the building placement by Bumbz there was just excellent. It just worked out in a perfect manner.
Yeah, we see a very fast fleet beacon and second Stargate on the way as well. Even Phoenix being started up, maybe just a little scared of a potential Spire that does not exist. But
you proud of your boy so far?
Dislike it. Yeah, he's playing well. I'm very impressed. I thought game 2 he was in trouble again, but he actually made it look very comfortable. In this game he's been doing good as well. I'm proud.
Couple of Zealots going for a tiny run by here, 3 Zealots, but they won't be able to get too much done. Maybe 2 workers in the end, unless the Rav just forget about it, and that's the third one. So it actually turns into a little more than I think what it was supposed to be. Like, this is a good army though, but I'm actually still a bit worried here for Bumbz, because he has been transitioning into a lot of stuff that's going to be very powerful way down the line. But Multi, we are not there yet. And now the Cybercore could be in some trouble. And even if 2 carriers come out, these are going to be carriers with 0-0 upgrades. The initial hold was fantastic, but the second hold may be a bit more difficult, as Voltz is also following your advice of attacking in between the bases. And look at these Ravages go.
Yeah, there's Bumbz needs to use Patriarchal. Try and use that as a natural. This is going to make it very difficult to keep all these Immortals and Void Rays alive. I just don't think he has enough. There's so many Ravagers in this army. The corrosive bows make this very awkward for Bumbz, and there's a massive bows taking out a Void Ray and an Immortal. Is there just too much here? There's about to be 2 carriers. I don't think that's enough. It's so close.
It is very close. There is an Immortal coming in from the natural. It's okay for Bumbz to lose a bunch of probes here. And even if the carriers don't have any upgrades, and they won't have any upgrades for a long time, I think Voltz needs to drop a Spire here, man. I think Voltz really need to drop a Spire. As these two Phoenixes chipping away that Overseer will die. And that made me think, by the way, man, Dark Shrines are so cheap. I actually think Bumbz' life is so freaking easy there. If he actually has a Dark Shrine, you wipe in a couple of DTs. What are the 3 or 4 Queens gonna do about it? Not a whole lot. Voltz does find his base on the right side, and he realized that he's still behind in workers, so he needs to do a little more. Now, you do need to be careful as a Zerg, because if you lose every single Ravager and every single Roachier, then suddenly just 5 or 6 Zealots are going to be a problem on your side of the map. This is a game, mate. We're video gaming. 12 minutes in.
A very nice hold in the end by Bumbz, I think. I thought he was in so much trouble there, but he evacuated almost all of his probes at the 3rd base out to his 4th, and he only lost 14 in the end, which was like a completely reasonable amount to lose with the economic advantage he already made himself.
But I still think he's in trouble, even with 61 workers against 58. Like, there are many scenarios where I would really like this for the Protoss. But the reason why I think Bumbz is in trouble is that I don't see a world where Bumbz can actually slow down the economy of Voltz in the near future. And if Voltz just builds 15 or 20 extra drones, just like he's doing right now, right? 13 drones on the production tab, and then you spam Corruptors, I think your Corruptors are going to have a very good time against 0-0 carriers, because we can't forget that the Cybernetics core died in the natural.
True. I would like to see Bumbz maybe take a 3rd Stargate and start making some Void Rays to deal with the Corruptors, because surely you know your opponent's going to be going for Corruptors now. It's not going to be a Hydra game. Couple Zealots being picked off on the west side of the map. Good defense by Voltz once again.
It's very important for Voltz that he does not attack with a mediocre number of Corruptors, right? You don't want to reveal the Corruptors, because at this point Bumbz doesn't even know. He may be expecting it, but he doesn't know for certain. But you don't want to make a move on top of a carrier or Archons near a battery and a cannon with only... Oh, the doors is just so wide open, Multi. I mean, we do have gateways. Yeah, we have a cannon. It's okay, it's okay. Thought it was a problem, but it's not. These are obviously 0-0 Zerglings, so it's going to be okay. You just don't want to attack with a small number of Corruptors. I really think you need, at a bare minimum, I'd say like 16 Corruptors here. For the very first time, you're going to try to gun down some of these Skytoss units. I wouldn't go with anything less than 16.
Yeah, the carrier count getting to a scary point now. It's up to 5, 6 on the way. Do you see a Void Ray starting up? So it looks like Bumbz has caught on, but I think he definitely needs more production. He's floating quite a lot. You see a Dark Shrine go down now, that's nice, but yeah. I definitely want to see some more Stargates.
Mate, this next fight is really going to come down to micro, because I think both of them have the potential to win it, and it really comes down to unit positioning, maybe some static defenses helping out. I like the fact that Voltz did not go with a tiny Corruptor count. Mate, he's going to have so many Corruptors. You say it's a scary carrier count, but the Corruptor count is closing in on 30, and 30 Corruptors, they can actually stand into a Psy Storm, into an Archon, and they will still kill all 5 carriers, unless there is a battery overcharge that comes into play. This is legitimately very close, proper exciting. Love this little Zealot run by the bottom side of the map, because the doors are wide open. This game is just a bit chaotic. Both players, it feels like it's all offense, no defense. Even though Bumbz is obviously twirling with his main army. But this many Corruptors, mate. This is going to be a fun fight.
Oh my goodness. Look how many Queens there are here as well for Transfusers. There are a few Storms in this army, and that's a great Storm in the heart of the Corruptors there. And these Archons are getting some shots off on these Corruptors. Voltz cannot let these Corruptors stay over the Archons. Oh my goodness. He's jumping on the carriers and he's going to take out a few. But at what cost?
Yeah, at the cost of like 20 Corruptors or something. These Archons, like the Storms were good, don't get me wrong. But it was not about the Storms. This was about 5 Archons going completely uncontested underneath 30 Corruptors. I honestly, people often ask me what's the most satisfying unit to kill, Roddy. And I often say like the Overlord, right, with Phoenix. But I don't think there is anything more satisfying than getting great Archon hits off on a lot of air units, especially Corruptors. It just doesn't happen very often. It almost never happens. These Archons were the MVP of that fight.
One thing I do like for Voltz, creep spread is pretty nice, denying Bumbz taking a 5th to the north here, but he's in a lot of trouble, and speak of which, DTs run in and Voltz just types out GG.
Had 2 Spore Crawlers. Where were the DTs? I know the Dark Shrine finished up.
They just ran past his main army in front of Voltz's 4th.
Okay.
And he just insta-typed out.
Yep. He saw them. He saw he wasn't ready. Did not probably feel that he could recover from losing a bunch of rounds. I would have loved to see him maybe stick in that game just a tiny bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously, fun game though. I really do think that there is a world where Voltz completely crushes that army, but we cannot have a 30 Corruptus above 5 Archons. The Storm, not a problem. 0-0 carriers, not a problem. Yes, that's fine. Roddy stream at NA. 5 Corruptus, that is, or 5 Archons underneath that many Corruptus, that absolutely is a problem. We're gonna go ahead and switch to the American server, because so far we have played every single game on Europe. I didn't know what these boys agreed most of the time. I just kind of leave it up to the players, because, yeah, Swedish internet is good. I do think it's only fair to play Game 4, potentially even Game 5 on NA. Voltz didn't request it earlier, but I feel like it's fine to switch over to the American server. So,
this is Zerg Cabal account, I see.
yes. See? No barcode, mate. Funny name, but no barcode.
I'm impressed, I'm impressed.
We have thought in the chat. What's up, Jon Merlo saying, is that the best poker dealer from Home Story Cup? For a second, I thought he was complimenting you as a player, but going for the dealer, mate. Dealer is not a good sign, because most of the time people are only the dealer when they are done playing.
Last Home Story Cup was a little brutal on the bankroll. This is true. It's okay. Get a message from Nino like 2 months later, like, hey, you owe me 50 euros. I'm like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize it was that bad. But it was a lot of fun, so it's okay.
This means that Bumbz has taken the 2-1 lead in our opening best of 5 of the night. Obviously, we have 3 more best of 5s after this. After this, I'll also be solo casting. Let's go ahead and see if we can just start the Friday night of video games with a best of 5 that actually goes to distance. Because I feel lately, opening matches quite often 3-0, 3-1. I'm ready for the rubber match. I don't know about you, Multi. I know you're supporting your boy, but I think a rubber match has never hurt anyone.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Game 5 here for sure.
Alrighty, round 4, Babylon in the bottom right side. For the first time on the American server here, we are looking at the main base of the American Zerg. Absolutely had a chance in that previous game with the first attack, with the second attack, and even with the big third attack with all those Corruptus. Unfortunately for him, the third time was not a charm. This is Voltz.
And in the northwest, in the red, playing Protoss for Team Goldmasters from Sweden, it's Bumbz. With a few more Z's on the American server.
I noticed, mate. You go for like northwest, southeast.
Yeah. I like it. I don't know why I do that, but I do like it.
It makes you seem very smart. You're like, man, look at this man. He knows directions.
Definitely why I do it then.
I can sort of read the clock, you know. I can be like 3, 6, 9, or 12, but northwest? Come on now, mate. We're just making it hard.
But now I'm definitely going to do it more often.
I kind of just like bottom right, top left.
That's boring.
For many years, I actually did it the other way around. I always did like on the left top side of the map or in the right bottom side of the map. And then I think day 9 once upon a time, he's like, Roddy, I realized that you always say it the other way around. Why is that? And I was like, that's probably because that's the way we do it in Dutch. And then I thought about it. I was like, yeah, it sounds better the way that they say it. So I lost my little Dutch trademark.
Bumbz has already messed up his wall, so he's off to a flying start in this game.
You think that the Cybercore should have been 1 square to the south?
Yeah. South, wow, you're learning.
Well, the thing is, though, like, if you have it like that, your Zealot is going to be a bit exposed, though, and then there is like an impossible area to cover behind it if that Zealot would ever fall.
No. He could have his Cybercore 1 tile south and still it would be fine.
Yeah, no, I know it would be fine, but it wouldn't be a very deep wall up. I don't hate this wall. The only problem is that indeed we're gonna need 2 buildings here, and probably gonna need another pylon here. So in that way, it's bad. But it does create a much larger little alley where you can basically have the double coverage against the Baning Bust, and they still wouldn't be able to enter.
True.
So, why does this hatch look funny to me?
It's hatch.
Yeah. Am I crazy, or is the hatch 1 square too far to the left?
I think it's fine. I think you're actually going crazy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's good. I see what you mean. It looks like a
No,
little bit
I
weird,
think-
but no, I'm pretty sure it's good.
I think it's one square off, mate. I actually
Seriously?
think this is one square off. I'm crazy, but I'm not that crazy. Chat?
I think when it hatches, we'll be able to see.
I think it's off. I honestly think it's off by one square.
Get a side bet on it, on the minerals.
Chada says off. Most people in the chat seem to think it's off. I just
Okay.
I don't remember it being this far to the left of the rocks. Like, that is not something I've seen before. Alright, we have a couple of decent amount of links, by the way, making our way to the other side of the map. We'll keep a close eye on that hatchery, and we'll figure out whether or not it's on the correct location later on. To me, it looks a tiny bit off.
No, it's fine, mate.
Yeah?
It's fine. A mile off. What are you guys saying in the chat? It's literally fine, no?
I still think it's one square off. Oh, maybe it's not.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I'm comparing it to the Nexus on the other side of the map. It's the same.
Yeah, okay. Alright, I'm crazy.
Okay. Bumbz finally switching it up. He's going double Stargate Fleet Beacon off 2 base here.
That is something we
Still,
were
you
talking
might
about
get
in
it.
the previous games, and we were wondering if we were going to see this. Because I think against the way that Voltz has been playing... By the way, I think my settings are off on the American server. No, they're not. Never mind. I am crazy, guys. I feel like this is a pretty good strategy to go for against the way that Voltz has been playing in these games.
Yeah, for sure. No, Bumbz is very comfortable with this style as well. He really likes using this fast carrier build. Gonna be able to take the third base now. And it's gonna be hard for Voltz to scout, but it's not. The wall is not complete, and the probes are full to try and prevent the Zergs getting into the main. They actually might be able to prevent the Lings getting into the main and getting that scout. Okay, that could have gone a lot worse.
Yeah. Obviously, it's lost mining time. We're losing 2 probes. All of that is not ideal, but... Yeah, okay. Well, it seems that Voltz has already picked up on something as he drops a very early Spire.
Yeah.
But I almost feel that that was the kind of Spire to go for potentially some Mutas early on, right? Show up with the Mutas at first, and then go into a whole bunch of Roaches and Ravages. As long as he doesn't build Mutas and he actually realizes what is happening and that this is the carrier build, then he's obviously going to be totally fine. He can just build Corruptus. If he builds Mutas, this can still get a very awkward game. Gotta say though, the economy of Voltz is looking really good in this game compared to our man Bumbz, and this Overseer Scout I think is going to be picture perfect.
Yeah, this is going to be a problem with Bumbz. He's actually starting to build a Void Ray now. I don't know if that's because he isn't really aware of what's going on, or if he's scared of a potential Roach push or something. Oats is going to come in now and see double Void Ray production. That's interesting.
With Flux Veins, so some sort of a 2 carrier into multiple Void Ray build. Honestly, mate, with 71 drones, I really feel that Voltz should always be fine, as long as he doesn't start losing the queens one by one here. But I think 6 queens and a spore, I would honestly build a few more queens here, mate. You've got 1300 minerals. It will absolutely not hurt Voltz to just get a few more queens, as he does fire up 9 Corruptors immediately and even makes a couple of additional drones, which I think is quite smart. As long as he doesn't do anything silly here with the queens, I have the feeling that Voltz will be absolutely cooking as soon as the Corruptors come out.
Yeah, Bumbz needs to be so careful with his army out here in the middle of the map with 11 Corruptors about to hatch, but he's going to take a fight against Queens here, and I think this is the best that Bumbz could really hope for.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was honestly crazy by Voltz and very unnecessary. Actually, one of the queens still alive, ultra low HP, will die immediately. Like now the Corruptors show up, but with prismatic alignment, this could still be a tiny bit of a problem. The Corruptors and the Queens, it seems like we barely have enough DPS. Spore Crawler even chipping out in the back. This works out well in the end for Voltz, but I have the feeling the way that fight started was honestly kind of unnecessary.
Yeah, I feel like that could have gone so much worse for Bumbz. He only lost 3 voids and a carrier, which is not a great trade against 5 Corruptors, but he could have lost everything there. Battery overcharge going to be used to save this carrier, will just about save it.
Very good overcharge there, mate, because that obviously makes it a bit harder for the Corruptors to wonder if they should go for it or not. The creep spread by the American Zerg here looks excellent. I know you complimented him already on it on Royal Blood, but I gotta say, 8 minutes into Babylon, which is a smaller map, a bit annoying with side blockers, I'm actually pretty impressed by this. This looks good. And 86 drones.
Yeah, it's looking like a very comfortable game for Zerg so far. So Corruptors sharking around the north. Maybe gonna come in here and try and drop some corrosive bile. Maybe take out the Stargates for the Nexus. Just pick off a Void Ray if they can. Pretty good start for the Zerg in this engagement. Adepts at the third base of the Zerg looking for some damage.
Yep, a couple of drones are stuck actually. I would be so... No way, okay, I was about to say if that one drone survives, that'd be ridiculous. Corruptor's taking an ambitious fight here. Above a cannon, above a battery, against a couple of Stalkers, 3 Void Rays with prismatic alignment, and a carrier. While losing 9 drones on the other side of the map. You can see that both players are stressing out a little bit here, right? Like the Adept Micro, not perfect, but still good damage. And then obviously the Corruptor Micro on the other side of the map. Bit questionable and honestly just a little bit unnecessary. I do like it when Zerg players play ambitious with the Corruptors if they have such a big economic lead. Because even bad trades will favor them, right? Because they can build Corruptors a lot quicker than Protoss can build Skytos units. But that was a lot of Corruptors. Earlier we lost 5, now we lost 12.
Yeah. Bumbz definitely with a chance in this game now, with the 4th base established as well. 101 drones for Voltz. Do you think there's a point where he's just building too many drones here?
I think as long as we can go for a second Spire, we can go for a Hive. I think at this point it's fine, especially because Bumbz' army is so tiny. So then you can absolutely continue to take these somewhat questionable trades. This is too many Overlords, by the way. We're at 173 out of 182 supply, and he just queued up 9 Overlords. I mean, at least he won't be supply blocked for a very, very long time. I think the drone count is okay as long as he keeps on trading. And ideally, I want to say deny additional bases, but Bumbz has been able to get 4 bases up and running. Yeah, he needs to just keep trading. Then it's okay, and I would get a second Spire here, man. In a game that's all about Corruptors against Skytos units, I would always say second Spire, double upgrades, baby.
I do think Bumbz is going to be in a lot of trouble once this Hive finishes, though, and Vipers can make it out, because there's no Temple Archives. It's only that Twilight Council, which is just going down now, so it's going to be a long way of feedback or Storm. And Vipers against Void Rays for that Parasitic Bomb, pretty dangerous for the Protoss.
You know, there's a lot of things that are very scary down the line as we get double Evo going down now. Now there is a second Spire, but as we're getting closer and closer to maxing out here for our man Voltz, I gotta say, now we have to make something happen. We've got 27 Corruptors. You can absolutely lose 3 Corruptors for every single Void Ray you kill here. That's okay, but you don't want to be maxed out and then wait until the Protoss is going to max out, because then your trades will always get a whole lot worse than they currently are. So don't be too afraid of some cannons, don't be too afraid of some batteries, just go for it. Yes, you can wait for Vipers, but I'd love to see him actually utilize that amazing Zerg economy for a little bit.
Do you see 2 Vipers on the way now? Few spines at the northern base as well. Going to be nice to defend against any Zealot run buys that may or may not come. But again, Bumbz only on 2 gateways here, so it is kind of all in on this Void Ray carrier composition. You think Corruptor Viper should be pretty powerful against.
Yeah, it should be godlike. What's our gateway count? Literally only 2, as you said, with 3 extra gates on the way. I think you're spot on, but I still also think that Voltz is going to make life very hard on himself if he doesn't start trading out. Actually, he's making a lot of roaches now, or maybe these are leftover roaches, but we had roaches on the top side, roaches at the bottom. They don't even have roach speed, mate, so that's a lot of army supply in slow roaches. Yes.
You see an Ultra's cabin as well.
With good micro, I agree with you that the Zerg should be fine here. But I also feel like he's making it hard, and I do think, as much as I am a Protoss player, guys, not just in-game, but by heart as well, it is a little bit easier for Protoss to control late-game armies than it is for Zerg. This carrier fleet and Archons now as well. Like, it's honestly going to be pretty difficult for Voltz to close this game out. I still believe, and I like the spot that he's in. I think he has been playing the better game. I think he is winning. But it's also very easy to mess it up in a terrible manner.
Yeah. And now there is Storm finishing up, and now there's some Archons in this army. It is going to make it very tough for Voltz to take an instantly game-winning fight. But he's doing a good job of keeping Bumbz on 4 bases for now, and if you can keep that up for a while, the economy of Bumbz is going to start to falter.
Like, I just think back of that moment where the Protoss had 150 supply, the Zerg is maxed out, you've got 27 Corruptors. I understand waiting for Vipers. Vipers are godlike. Vipers should allow you to win the battle. But if you have a 50-60 army supply advantage, you kind of want to go for it, man. Take some trades. Even the bad trades are good for you. Will we go for abducts or will we go for power bombs? The first one is an abduct. That's a free carrier. At the same time, there are a couple of gung-ho zealots going pretty wild in the bottom side of the map.
Yeah.
We've got a few zealots on the top side of the map as well. This base is well protected with all the spines.
Great Aspire on the way now. Brood Lords obviously make this a lot more awkward for the Protoss to engage. Plenty of Corruptors turn into them.
Mate, like 3 feedbacks.
Try to take the space out.
Oh, okay, I like that Parabomb. I like the Parabomb. Love the Abduct as well. Beautiful Viper play here. As he engages a bunch of the units by themselves in the top left. Lands 2 more Abducts. Okay, this is very sexy Viper play. I thought he was going to make it life hard on himself by basically not doing anything for the longest time. But that right there is how you get some value out of Vipers. The Parabomb, the Abducts, flying into the other Skytos units that were coming in by themselves in the top left side was very good.
Oh
2 more carriers go down and Bumbz actually ends up eating his own storm there a little bit. Amazing fight there. The only problem is a Zealot and a DT have killed a few too many drones.
Getting damage done here. Those two gonna be able to hatch. But Bumbz coming back in and these Corruptors need to be careful with those Archons trying to get underneath him. And it looks like this base is gonna fall down now and hey, it's gonna be 5 base against 5 base.
Yeah, there's a lot of money in the bank though. And obviously 22 drones dying is a problem. We're going very heavy on the Ultras, which I don't really hate, but then we probably want to make sure that we get sexy upgrades. Chitinous plating is done. I think even the speed upgrade is done. As we do have a big storm landing on all these roaches. The Corruptor Micro is still good, man. Very well done here by Bumbz. Excuse me, by Voltz. This looks a whole lot better. Bumbz is also making the best out of this Protoss army, but I think in the end, Ultras on creep should be big enough, should be powerful enough, especially with the Queens helping out. Look at this. The battle in the skies is done. But 2 Ultras with a little bit of love from the ladies will get the cleanup. And now we got to keep going, though, Mr. Voltz. Pedal to the metal. You're maxed out again. Got a lot of money in the... Well, he had a lot of money in the bank. He burned through the entire piggy bank. Do something about this base in the bottom left side.
Yeah, for sure. Does he know it's there yet? No, he doesn't, but surely he can assume that it's there with the creep to the north of the map. And with 7 Ultralisks about to hatch to join the 6 that are already out.
No! Oh, it's going to be so much harder once all the cannons and the batteries finish up. And like, I know Ultras can be good, but... I don't know, man. I always feel that Ultras can be derpy too against cannons, Ultras, cannons, batteries, and Immortals. So Voltz is going to show up, but most of the cannons are done. Does Bumbz have an army that is capable of fighting this many Ultras? I love that Void Ray positioning, by the way. Very smart. We're going to drop a couple of Storms as well. 2 Immortals and a Dream. I just think it's a little bit too much, Zerg, right? Too much HP on these Ultras. Too much HP on these Corruptors. And it does seem that our first series of the day will go to distance. As we warp in a couple of DTs and oh no, Overseer. Okay, we're not quite there yet, but it should still go to this. No, don't do that. That's a bit of a donation. Here come the Overseers. Man, look at these Dark Templars go, by the way. They killed like... Oh my goodness. The DTs and the 2 Immortals actually killed like 6 Ultras. And now we're morphing 7 Broodlords because we also have a Great Aspire.
Bumbz is still super dead there, but he's hanging on, and these 2 Immortals put out an absurd amount of damage. Corruptor's going to be able to clean up the last of the Void Rays, and I think we are very close to going to map number 5.
Mate, if you had like 15 gates there, right, and you would warp in 15 Zealots, and then you warp in 10 Stalkers, then there is actually a chance that this all becomes very awkward, because then maybe the Broodlords finish up right after all the ground units have died. Could have been close, because Bumbz is sitting at... Well, he was sitting at 4,000 minerals, a little bit less right now, but obviously losing this base too, not enough gas income anymore. I think our main gases are done right, yeah. Natural is running very dry. This is that infamous Bumbz GG timing that you were talking about earlier?
Yeah. He won't leave in the next 30 seconds. I'd be willing to put a bet on it.
He won't or he will?
He won't. The Zealots and the 2 Immortals at the north fighting bravely. Targeting the Ultras down with the Immortals.
Alright.
This is very ambitious from Bumbz with 10 Broodlords flying across the map.
I'll give you an over and under. 19 minutes and 30 seconds.
Or under. I think like 19:10. He taps out.
Alright, here come the Void Rays. It is 3 Void Rays, but there are still so many Corruptors. It's not just a couple of exposed Brood Lords. These are well protected Brood Lords, at least from the Voids. Now, obviously, Stalkers are going to have a very hard time getting in range of this many Brood Lords, especially because we don't have Blink. So Bumbz is like, well, the best defense is offense. Maybe I can somehow make you send all of your units back to your side of the map, as I am attacking one of your 7 bases at this point. I'm gonna say that his squad has been doing alright, but of course normally Bumbz should just be running out of steam, guys. There is just no way for him to ever clean up this many Broodlords. I think he's dreaming of the elimination at the moment, Multi.
Yeah, one hell of an ambitious space trade by Mr. Bumbz here. We're approaching 1910. Oh my god, he recalled, mates, come on.
He recalled the Immortals?
Yeah.
Sick. Multi said under 19 minutes and 10 seconds, but it does seem like we are entering the over. That 1930, actually you just said under 1930, right? And you predicted...
I said he'll leave at 1910.
Yeah, okay, but you went for the under. You still have 10 seconds to cover the under.
Happening. It's not happening.
I think it's happening. As soon as the Broodlings come down, I think he leaves. It's 19 minutes and 30 seconds, but it will be the over. As here come the Corruptors. Battery Overcharge obviously will not be able to keep the Void Rays alive against this much Swarm. And we will go into a Game 5, guys, for our opening best of 5 tonight. Now, I don't know what to do, Multi. And I'm just going to let you decide, as I think you're a neutral party. We played the first 3 games on the European server. We played Game 4 on the American server. So on one hand...
we have to play on the American server, right?
Yeah, okay. Let's just do it.
And like, this was a good game.
No.
So, I think,
well...
I think it's fine that
it's either NA for Game 5, because we did 3 games on EU, or we can flip a coin. And let the coin winner decide. But I think NA for Game 5 is fair.
Yeah, I think so.
Box00E1. I don't know if you're trolling, mate, or you're trying to be frustrating. Alright. What does Bumbz say? Stop with your balanced wine, mate. You can do a lot of things in this channel, but stop with your clueless balanced whining, because it's very annoying. Okay, so both these guys are very sweet. Bumbz says we can do a coin flip, but if you want NA for Game 5, we can do NA Game 5. And Voltz was like, you want to do the coin flip, mate? Even though I gave him the choice to pick in Game 5. So we'll leave it in the hands of Voltz. I think coin, since we didn't determine servers beforehand. That's very fair. Okay, let's do a coin flip live on stream. Voltz, you choose. Head or tails? Tails never fails. Heads never loses. Alright, the man wants head, guys. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do this in the most fair way possible. We'll do coin flip in Google Chrome. The man wants heads. Tails never fails. It is tails. So now Bumbz can decide. There is a chance, guys, that Bumbz is gonna be the most fair and honest man ever and just pick NA for Game 5. It was tails. So Bumbz, you choose. NA or EU. Game 5, guys. Europe or NA. What will it be? Okay. EU it is for Game 5. See you guys there. Bumbz is like, well, I was kind of okay with NA, but if you really do let me in charge and I win the coin flip, then I do want to play Europe. So Europe it is. That's they could have decided on before, but a lot of Americans are completely okay with playing games on the European server, because that's actually what they're almost getting used to. Since the Europe server is a bit more active and has a larger player base, a lot of the Americans prefer to ladder on Europe. Alright, Indy can host. Indy host up for Game 5. Fun series though, right, Multi?
Yeah, really fun series. I'm not sure really what I expected, but it's been super nice and it's been very, very close. Bumbz actually just messaged me. WTF did he scout to go for Spire though?
Well, he had the Overseer Scout, but I think the Spire initially in
He
the
did go for it before that, yeah.
Yeah. I think initially the idea was to get a couple of quick mutas out, and then maybe do like the Raynor special of ZVZ, right? Of like 5, 6, 7, 8 mutas, kill a couple probes, force out an empty muta response, and then you show up with like 200 roaches. But then obviously got a good scout off. Maybe also saw something wasn't quite right when he went for that Ling run by. Because the Lings did scout very few units and a lot of gas being mined. Right? The Lings didn't make it into the main base, but if you're really dialed in, if you're in the zone, I think as a Zerg, you know something is not quite adding up there.
Yeah. And it is build that Bumbz done before, so I don't know if Voltz had seen Bumbz say before, but he might have been able to expect it from that.
We have 3 more best of 5s for you guys after this. It's a TVZ, a TVZ, and a PVT main event. But first, we're going to wrap up our first best of 5 of the day. Excellent scrap between 2 players, around 5,400 MMR. $75 on the line. Let's do it.
Final round. Fight!
This man has lost the coin toss. He went for heads, but tails never fails. Bottom right side, the American Zerg. Playing a pretty fun series so far, showing us a little bit of everything. And I gotta say, for 5.4k MMR, that was some very sexy Viper control. This is Voltz.
And in the northwest, in the blue, playing Protoss for Team Goldmasters. Looking to make it 3-2. It's Bumbz.
Neo-Humanity is a funny, weird map to wrap it all up on. I'm still not sure how I feel about Neo-Humanity PvC, where it's like, I feel like there is some very cool stuff you can get away with as a Protoss, but it's often very choky as well. You look at this, you're like, pretty large map, but there's almost never a good moment for a bunch of Archons and Zealots to fight at the same time.
Well, look at what the Zerg's trying to get away with here, being the probe. Blocking the natural, Voltz goes straight for the forward third base with that rich gas geyser.
Has Bumbz scouted this yet? Bumbz has not scouted this yet. As we also get a raid from the great Iona Sotala. Thank you, Iona. I hope the stream was a lot of fun. We are currently wrapping up our first best of 5 of the night. We've got 2 TVZs coming up after this. And Sarah was actually the one who I wouldn't say pushed me to invite Namsha, because I've already invited Namsha before, but I had a little chitty chat with Sarah, and I think he wrote in my channel, he's like, you gotta ask Namsha again. I was like, you know what? It's about time, because Namsha only played once, and he's obviously a European legend, so I was like, let's get some Namshar versus Moja. I think that's going to be a very fun best of 5, but that will come later tonight.
Bumbz does eventually now scout this forward hat with the pro.
What do you think
What
of
do you
this
do
hatchery?
against this? Yeah, I mean, it's nice, but it is really far away, so the first 1 or 2 adepts could be very annoying, and the mineral line is like very exposed, so if the adept comes in from the north, then it's actually pretty easy to pick off a drone or 2 if the Zerg is not on it.
Do you think it's on the correct location, Multi?
Yes, I'm an expert in that, as we devised in the last game.
I think I'm going to agree with you on this one. You know what I think it is? It was that skin he was using. It's like that weird hatchery, man. That hatch just looks different. That was the Boudoir hatch because we were on the American server. Here on Europe, at least he's using the normal one. Alright, so here comes that adept. And that adept is indeed going to try to do what you said was easy. I have to admit it, to me, it never really feels easy to get a drone. Oh, that's actually kind of cute.
I didn't realize this was possible. Yeah, that's very cute by Bumbz.
You can actually kill this as well. You can kill the rocks, then you can get even closer.
that might take a few years with just one adept, but he's going to deny some mining and be able to pick off some lings.
Oh, well, I actually thought that was a surround, and I think that was supposed to be a surround, but it's still not a surround. In the end, it finally is, and that should be good enough to pick off one of these first 2 adepts. And that's obviously lovely, right? Because imagine 2 adepts here, off creep, and link speed 10 seconds away from being done. That actually means that you're going to probably end up losing a drone or 2, or at least be forced to pull these drones away again. So getting one adept there before link speed is done, as this adept, I don't want to say is in trouble. But, yeah, good start here by Voltz. Very well done. Good link movement. That's an early roach one, by the way, here, mate.
Yeah, it is. Maybe going back to what worked for him so well in game number 1 with that roach play. But this is very, very early. That could be a much quicker attack. With the roaches coming in, we see a Void Ray out for Bumbz. No Oracle so far. Is he really just not going to produce any other units from that Stargate? Seems a bit surprising to me.
Well, maybe we do 1 Void Ray into like 8 gateways, Zealots +1. And we are actually going to try to be a little bit cheeky and feisty ourselves. It's a play, mate.
It is a play. There's a lot of overlords on the way for Voltz. He's going to build some drones. Was wondering if he was just going to hold down the Archie for a little while there. Not quite yet.
And his gas income is so sick, and just working with a rich Vespian geyser is always amazing, because you can basically stop mining gas from your main base as well if you don't really need all that much gas. You save yourself 4 drones by getting access to a rich Vespian geyser this early. This could you know what would be sick here, by the way? A Dark Shrine, because I have the feeling that Voltz is gonna do the old special of just roaches and queens of hatchery tech with a relatively late lair, but just a lot of units early on, roaches, ravages, and queens. And that will always reminds me of that TSL final between Trap and Raynor, where Raynor went for that build and Trap got the Dark Shrine up, and then obviously all the queens on the other side of the map were in all sorts of trouble. Like, imagine a world, mate, where instead of a Templar Archives, this was a Dark Shrine. I actually think Voltz would be in so much trouble.
Yeah, now Bumbz in so much trouble here. He's picked up a few drones with a Void Ray, but I don't think he realizes just how many roaches making their way across the map. He does start up another Void Ray, so maybe he's clocked on a little bit. He's trying to build a cannon at the third, but the Adepts are actually getting in the way of the probe.
I'm gonna be honest, I almost think we have to sacrifice the third base and try to defend in the natural, right?
Yeah. His Void Ray is on the wrong side of the map as well. Not going to be able to help out here, but there's so many queens coming across as well. Void Ray is recalled. No batteries or cannons done yet at the third. Bumbz needs to sacrifice the space right now.
Prismatic alignment is obviously very good, especially if it's just working on the roaches. You got to be super careful with the Void Ray. I don't think we canceled the battery or the cannon there, so that's a lot of resources going down. We don't have too much static defense in the natural either. It's a single battery. We do use overcharge. Now we definitely need to keep the swarm out. Just imagine a Dark Shrine in this game, by the way, Multi. As the corrosive balls go down and they almost kill one of the Void Rays. That would have been big. I feel like Voltz wasn't sure if he should keep going or not, but he's like, you know what? It's actually going really well, and I don't see too many units on your side. What can I still lose to? Well, Dark Templars would be a problem. That's why he fires up the lair immediately. But I'm afraid for Bumbz here that our Swedish Protoss is going to end up losing here on his debut at the Friday night. Because by the time that this is all cleaned up, Multi, I think Bumbz is down to 20 workers.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Bumbz, but it's well played by Voltz, taking advantage of these Twilight forward things without the Robo, and the Corrosive Bowls take care of those Void Rays. There's one Immortal and one Massive Dream left for Bumbz.
Can put that one on ping, as Game 5 was played on the European serve, but the 2 Void Rays did go down there to the Corrosive Ball. Voltz obviously absolutely cooking with his 3 base on the other side of the map. Does he need to push into the main base? No. But why would he go home? He sees barely any Protoss units. He knows that at the bare minimum he's going to get even further economically ahead. And I do want to say that is actually kind of important because it's still 3 bases. He never ended up killing the Nexus. So this would have been still problematic even if a late Dark Shrine kicked in, right? And would have cleaned everything up. But none of that will come into play, as it will be a Voltz to get the job done here on his debut Friday night with a nice 3-2 victory over the Swedish Protoss player Bumbz. Multi, your men lost, but not a bad best of 5, I'd say, to kick the night off with.
It's an absolute banger of a series, and hopefully the rest of the series tonight will follow suit.
Alright, any final thoughts about these 5 games?
I think what someone said in the chat is all the games look the same. It's kind of a funny point. There were a lot of very similar looking games, but they all went in their own ways, and it all kind of turned out to be really close, and with all games potentially going either way.
Yeah, I think there were many moments where with 1 or 2 different decisions, it wouldn't have had a small impact on the way that the game played out, but it would have had a monstrous impact on how the game played out. But I hope both players had fun. Obviously, congrats to Voltz. He wins $60. Congrats to Bumbz. He still walks away with $15. And I think both of them deserve a future invite, especially first series of the night. I think this was a good showing by these lads. Then I'm going to let you go, Multi. Any other big plans for your Friday night, amigo?
No, I think I might just sit back, relax, watch some more great StarCraft.
All right.
Complain.
Thank you for joining, and I'll see you in the chat.
Thanks for having me. See you.
Bye-bye. All right, guys. That was our man Multi from the Gold Masters. He wanted to cast his boy Bumbz. Yes. I'm taking a little look, guys, at our Discord DM, because on Monday the WTL will continue, and that's obviously a very exciting day, because that means that Basilisk will be playing again, and will continue their journey to qualify for the WTL Code A. That's going to be a lot of fun. So I was just taking a little look at what the players were discussing with one another. But it's now time to get ready for our second series of the night. We are actually a bit behind schedule, but that's okay. I'm just going to take a couple minutes, guys, and after that I'll be back for a TVZ, a fun one. And two guys, well, at least one guy that thought this should have been the third match of the night, not the second match. And if you guys wonder why does that matter, it's because the prize money gets bigger every single series. So it's obviously always better to be the third than the second. But let's go ahead and settle this prediction. You guys thought Voltz was going to get the job done, and Voltz did get the job done. Congrats to him. Congrats on the dub. Now we can start our second prediction. Very close one here, guys. A very close one. Cuckoo 6K Terran. Well, we can do an Aura. Versus Nikic 6K Bell Zerg. Not Belgium, but Belarus. But we can go with Bell. Cuckoo for the win. Nikic, who's actually making his debut. For Cuckoo, this is the fourth time that he's playing on a Friday night. Nikic is making his debut. I just didn't really think about inviting him earlier, but he absolutely deserves it. He plays in all the weeklies. You guys have probably seen him battle with like Spirit and Reyna's Random. I actually think this is going to be a very fun and a very competitive best of 5. I'm ready for it. I'll let you guys get your predictions in the first 15 minutes. Yeah, okay, I wrote his name wrong, but that's okay. It's only the prediction. We won't spell the name wrong when he receives the prize money. Little typo happens to the best of us. I'll be right back. See you guys in a couple minutes.